in our group, and I'm just the writer here, and I will just present the recommendations that we all came up with. So we wrote that in the form of recommendations. So for example, regarding the budget issues, we are thinking of that, what opportunities can we have? So in order to raise more budget and funding, we can have registration fees from participants. We can use the workplace facilities or stationaries that are already there so that we can have like extra funding. We can already implement within already established events. For example, in our faculty, we have already established events like departmental seminars, we have like cultural seasons which are held yearly. And so we get invited all the time to present lectures there. So we can implement these contents within the already established events, so it will cost us actually nothing. Also, interestingly, there are certain organizations here in Egypt which fund some scientific workshops. For example, there is a call for the STDF, and I believe when we were talking, they said that the DAD also, the DAD, they also fund such workshops. Also regarding the academies, the Science Technology Development Fund. It's a funding organization in Egypt which funds projects and scientific workshops as well.
And the DAD?
It's the
German Academy for the German Institute of Studies. Deutsche Akademische Austauschdienst.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't pronounce that. Also, we need also to involve academies. For example, we have this really nice Egyptian Young Academy of Sciences, and it would very fit much into the context of what we are doing. Also, the Global Young Academy, because I've attended a workshop lately, it's called Africa Science Leadership Program, and they are actually funding many capacity building workshops, so it can be very much integrated within this. For the ice breaking, well, we had some really nice techniques before, which is that each one demonstrates his own constructive and destructive behaviors so that everyone should know himself first before he knows how to influence others. Also, we have another activity which is really nice, and my colleagues, they found it really useful, which that everyone identifies his neighbor. He just sits with his neighbor and knows some stuff about him and then introduces him. Also, patience is important because sometimes the participants, they take time before they start to participate. So you need to be patient so that ice breaking will come eventually, but you need to demonstrate patience. Also, ice breaking between facilitators. These three items are within participants, but within facilitators it's also important because we have to be on the same page and there has to be harmony. Regarding finding facilitators or spotting future facilitators, attendees of the RCR institutes, they are already experienced and so they can be potential facilitators, and the already existing facilitators of the workshops, they are also very, very helpful. And if you have friends, that's a bonus also because you don't have communication problems, but they have to be enthusiastic, and if they have experience in active learning, that could be also a bonus. I'm sorry, I love to write, so I drafted it into 3 pages. Regarding facilitators training, most of us agree that in order to train facilitators who hadn't attended the institute before, we just showed them the materials and then discussed, and then we simulated some activities in front of them, so we had preparation before. Regarding sustainability, one of my colleagues, she said that if we incorporate these contents within the ethical committee's guidelines so that they can be effective, they are not just names, that she already did that. And like I did, I integrated this within compulsory academic curricula. So it's sustainable. As long as this course is being taught, it's sustainable. Also, as I said, when we integrate this within the regular institutional events like the cultural season, continuing education workshops, we have that in our faculty, and I believe most of the faculties, they already have continuing education. We can implement that within them, and departmental seminars, of course.
Could I just ask you before you turn over the page, what ethical committees do you have?
Well, actually, this is not in my faculty, in the research center that she's working.
As I said before, at the NRC there are ethical committee, but I mentioned that it is concerned with the approval or refusal of proposals for projects, PhD or master thesis, but they are not concerned with teaching responsible science. So I talk with some of them, and they are welcome to teach researchers or giving seminars to them to learn more about responsible science.
And these are ethics committees, what, that deal with animal research, human research,
course,
GMOs, general...
For just accepting if the research is going on human subjects or
approval
animal
not.
subjects. In nursing, we have an ethics committee just to ensure that the research will not harm the participant in the
Right,
research.
okay,
It's IRB plus ICOC.
right, okay.
Not related to plagiarism or publication, falsification,
yeah.
because it is to review the plan of the research before doing it.
So it's, if you like, widening the remit of an existing structure to sort of
Yeah.
put this other training into it. Yeah, very good.
Regarding institutional support, well, the most important support is that they didn't oppose us in the first place. So if they agree, that's the ultimate support that I need. And then we can use smart use of resources. If we have like a lecture hall or something that we can use, so we can do with what we have. The limitations and constraints, financial, but we will get over that. We will get past that. Administrative, because sometimes the paperwork takes time for the approvals, but it's also doable. And this is actually a problem when people, the dominating positions, they are resisting the change. So we have to be patient and we have to be like diplomatic in the way we convey the message to them.
Can I just
And-
ask about...
I'm sorry, this is the last page. I'm proud. The last page.
But the paperwork, I mean, you all produced programs, you had handouts.
Yeah.
Do you think that
Another
were people delighted to take those away? Do you need those on every occasion? Or can you get away with less, or do you need more? Because if you obviously have these things, you do need some money to pay for them. What is the sort of message?
Can I comment on that?
Yeah, please.
Excuse me. Personally, I prefer not to have so many handouts and printouts. It's not environmentally friendly. You spend money, and most of the time people just throw it away. We have now we are fortunate to have all of this technology, internet, electronic stuff, because most people have these tabs, these phones. You can just email them the materials and they can read it on their own whenever they have time. So you save money, you save the environment, and it's
But usually you
more
are
practical.
more concerned about the copyright. If you send your material, it is not that much either.
We're teaching about plagiarism and responsible conduct, so if we commit this act, it's a big problem.
He's the first victim of plagiarism.
Yes.
I do something like Dr. said. I give the participant a CD containing the sources
Right.
and the presentations of me and my participants, my colleague, and we give them our name, our data,
Contact
name,
details,
contact
yes.
list, and the contact list for all of them. And we think that this will help them to disseminate their knowledge
Right.
for their colleague in the institute. If we give them hard copies, it will be difficult to be copied, it will be paid, and on a CD or a flash memory, it will be more easier to be disseminate this knowledge as a software.
Yeah. So your cost, that these things reduce your cost. So it's the ideas you're selling really, but the hardware can be minimal.
No,
Cost minimal,
my
really.
idea wasn't for sellers, not for sellers, was to facilitating the handling the sources, handling the idea.
Yeah. Sure.
But it wasn't for me. Most the money wasn't a problem.
Right.
You're rich. You're rich.
That's good.
No.
But
wasn't rich.
CDs are
Yeah.
not expensive,
We
really, or
decided
flash
between
drives.
us,
Yeah.
all the facilitators, we will not take a money or any fees. Then all things will be right as we want. If it is the money we take, we make it to disseminate our knowledge. What we want to make.
Sure.
To do things, it wasn't in our faculty, and I think it wasn't in all the faculties. disseminate knowledge how to manage the biohazard waste. We didn't have one sign of biohazard waste in our faculty. We have a genetic genetic labs, we microbiology labs, we have animal labs. We didn't have one sign. The participants didn't know the science.
So, I mean, that was the important thing to correct. Yeah.
And one more suggestion was also that some costs are not related to the content itself, but side costs like the catering. There was suggestion, to reduce it, or if they can just work, omit. Yeah, so because it takes lots of the budget.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
But
I like Ola's Roman Forum, really, where she, draped these cloths over. So I had a vision of some sort of Roman amphitheater, with these. Sorry, please carry on.
But I think Dr. Baha talking about the handouts, right? You don't talk about the handout. You talk about the material.
And the
right?
handout.
But both. But the handout is really very important for the participant. They may need it,
You could have it
they can take,
You send it electronically.
I think they need a handout, but the material you can send by email, or you can give them a CD or something like that.
We're eco-friendly, we send everything electronically.
Yes, and actually I noticed that even the handouts, not all participants are keen to take them home with them. I mean, it's just for the purpose during the workshop. So, so
when we
it's
go,
not, exactly. People don't want a hassle. So I noticed
So go electronic, really.
Yes.
But remember the older professors that you need to bring in, really,
Yes,
they're not on
those-
Facebook
yeah,
and so on.
yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Some people don't like it.
I know you like a good meeting book, Jim.
Okay. Regarding the publishing, we really thought that since we have data, we have pre and post assessments, we have statistical data, and we have recommendations to say. So these results are really publishable. So we're going to check the relevant journals, and I believe Dr. Mohammed Shenawi has already shared on Facebook one of his latest publications, which is education oriented. So we might as well try to check some relevant journals, try to publish that. And an interesting idea is that my colleagues, they said, maybe we can collect data of similar cases, and then we can publish them as one strong paper in the form of comparative study. For example, if everyone is talking about fabrication, falsification, we can collect the data from different workshops, combine them into one manuscript, and then publish it. It's going to make a stronger case.
Yeah, and as Jim was saying, I mean, you use different strategies, different training programs and so on.
Yeah, so it can be in the form of a comparative study.
Yeah, that might be quite good actually.
Nice. Yeah, and then some other ideas came up, is that if we are dealing with the publishing issue, we need to have prior consent from the participants. So, for example, for me, I did it verbal. If you want to participate, just take the papers and fill them out. Luckily, most of them did, but I didn't take that in written form. So we should emphasize that we should have written approval from the participants, so that if you are aiming to publish, it has to be documented.
I think already if he approving to attend your workshop and to fill in the documents, evaluation form, you gave the pre and post test, he already approving, and this approving that this material could be disseminated, this material could be used. I think we are not in need for consent.
I don't know, we need to highlight this sentence, is that we are going to use these data publishable. Of course, it's going to be anonymous, we're not sure.
No, anonymous, yes.
Yes, but...
So there was a problem?
No, you should tell him and take the consent.
I don't know if it was done also in the Egyptian too, but in Egypt one we had to sign for the photos and the videos and everything.
Photos
is a National Academy of
and
Science
videos,
requirement.
and
the data.
The data.
Yeah, also.
The caution I want to give you though, is when you start doing comparative studies, make sure that the criteria and everything that each person is using is the same. What I see an awful lot, and the analogy I'm going to give is that they call themselves doing the same thing, one group measures in metric, the other group measures in English, and they, you know, and you start making apples and oranges comparison as opposed to oranges comparison. So you make sure you check that.
And your last right there?
Yeah, and finally, we're trying to extend this a little bit further. So we need to implement these concepts in other issues other than strict specific issues like plagiarism, fabrication, falsification. We need to extend that to solve like societal problems or environmental problems, like Dr. Bahat said, the waste disposal problems. We can use some of the concepts that we learned to tackle like larger issues, or not specifically constrained to the issues of plagiarism, fabrication, falsification.
Maybe other research methodology like data management, like manuscripting, could be implemented.
Yes.
Very good. Good.